Good evening, members and officers of the Council and members of the press and public. I welcome you to this meeting of the Council, Thursday, 7th February 2019. If I can just run through the housekeeping quickly. If the fire alarm is activated, please vacate the offices via the stairs, either through the security doors to my right or opposite the lifts in the foyer. Please do not use the lifts. Please assemble in Hawley Square on the Green. Officers will assist you and advise when it is deemed safe to return to the chamber. I can confirm the proceedings of this meeting will be recorded and subsequently broadcast on the internet. I would advise that if filming takes place, anyone in attendance in the public areas may have their image captured. I urge anyone filming proceedings to avoid filming members of the public, particularly if there are children present. I won't ask the next question, which is, does anyone intend to film the meeting? I have been to Specsavers. Any member of the public who objects to the possibility of being filmed may wish to take this opportunity to leave the meeting. Any filming or recording will not be permitted for any item of business where exempt or confidential information is considered following the exclusion of the press and public from the meeting. Can I ask everyone present to please ensure that their mobile phones are turned to silent and that they are not used to make or receive phone calls in the chamber whilst the meeting is in progress. We can move on to the agenda, and agenda item 1 is apologies for absence. I've so far received apologies from Councillors Dixon, Falcon, Grove, Larkins, Shonk, Stummer-Schmersing, Townend, Hillman and R. Potts. Are there any other apologies? Councillor Fairbrass. Thank you. Okay. Can I announce, before we get to the next agenda item, that agenda item 6, Budget 2019-20 report, has been withdrawn from this evening's meeting. I would ask the leader to explain the circumstances. Councillor Bayford.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. Members will be aware that I've said all along for a long time that we couldn't carry on with the never-ending saga of the Port of Ramsgate, and that we had to reach a point where we either had an operator and therefore income to meet the costs, or we had to actually make the very uncomfortable decision to actually close sections of the port and make serious cost savings. But today, I had a conversation with Chris Grayling, Secretary of State for the Department for Transport. The DfT is continuing commercial discussions with Seabourn and other potential operators, recognising the importance of Ramsgate Port in terms of Brexit resilience. The Department for Transport is very keen to keep the option of Ramsgate alive, and in the light of this, I've asked the Chairman to withdraw the item tonight for it to come back at the soonest opportunity when those discussions have been concluded. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bayford.
Chair.
Point of order?
Yeah, well, information really. Can the leader or yourself tell us when the last date for the actual verification of the budget can take place?
Councillor Bayford.
I'm told legally the 11th of March, but we have to allow sufficient time to get the council tax decision for it to be implemented. Okay.
Thank you. We'll continue with the agenda items, and agenda item 2 is minutes of the extraordinary meeting held on the 27th of November 2018. I move that the minutes of the extraordinary meeting of the Council held on the 27th of November be approved and signed as a correct record. Would the Vice Chairman please second?
Second that, Chair.
Do members agree? Thank you. Agenda item 3, minutes of the meeting held on the 6th of December 2018. I move that the minutes of the meeting of the Council held on the 6th of December 2018 be approved and signed as a correct record. Once again, would the Vice Chairman please second?
I second that, Chair.
Do members agree? Thank you. Agenda item 4, announcements. It is with regret that I have to announce that former Councillor Simon Moores has recently passed away. Mr. Moores was a Conservative councillor from 2007 to 2015 and a Cabinet member for Environmental Services. Sadly, it is also with regret that I have to announce that former Councillor Ronald Hutton has also recently passed away. Mr. Hutton was a Conservative councillor from 1991 to 1994. I'm sure the Council will join me in expressing sympathy to both Mr. Moores and Mr. Hutton's family. Could all members please stand for a minute's silence as a mark of respect for the late Mr. Moores and Mr. Hutton. Thank you. Does any member wish to say a few words? Councillor Hayden.
Thank you very much, Chairman. I knew and worked with both gentlemen, but mainly with Ron Hutton. He joined the council in '91, as I did. People used to get mixed up with he and I because of our names. Hutton and Hayton was too close. The only difference was that Ron Hutton was a multi-millionaire and I was a vagrant from the poor side of Ramsgate. The situation with Ron is that he wasn't political. He just wanted to see what he could do for the people of Thanet. And he became deputy leader of this council and obviously really enjoyed himself. He used to disrupt the agenda in the planning committee, especially when I was chairman of that meeting. And he was a very good, nice gentleman, and his family were very, very good. As for the other, I didn't know very much about him. Perhaps Councillor Bayford knew more about him than I did, but Simon Moore was a different character to Ron Hutton. He was a very hard-working councillor, and he was on the cabinet and did some very good work. And we shall miss both of these gentlemen. Thank you very much, Chairman.
Thank you, Councillor Hayden. Councillor Bayford.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. I suppose it's the reverse of what I said. I didn't really know Ron Hubbard very well. He was here for a term, became deputy leader, and unfortunately for him, he wasn't one of the 3 that survived of the 34 of us that had been here in '95. And I think that was a great loss to this council because, as was said, he was passionate about the area and only wanted to see good happen. So it's a shame that he wasn't here for longer. Yes, Simon Moore, yes, he was colleague for 8 years, both as a backbencher and a cabinet member. He was highly intelligent, very articulate. When he spoke, he was always worth listening to. he was a passionate advocate for Westgate. And I suppose the only consolation that you can take from this, that he died doing something that he really loved, flying.
Thank you, Councillor Bayford.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Yes, I knew Ron Hutton as well. I'm afraid I might have been a bit of a thorn in his side prior to the 95 elections when I was campaigning with Labour members for pensioners' bus passes and lavatories, and I'm not going to go into the gory details, but I did come one night to a meeting and wave a red bucket around and embarrassed poor Mr Hutton, Councillor Hutton. I said, is this what we're reduced to? But of course I've matured since then. I wouldn't do such a thing now. I really didn't know that Ron had died, and obviously our group would be very sorry to hear that for anybody's family. But I knew Simon much more so, and Simon was a formidable political opponent. I did write to the leader and to Sir Roger Gale, because whatever rows we have in here, we often work closely together outside of here. And many times, both when he was in a cabinet position or later when I was a deputy leader and even a leader, he would contact me about issues in Westgate. I know that privately and behind the scenes he did a lot of work with homeless people in Adrian Square. He would be the first to pick up a phone to me to say, we found, particularly young women, we found sleeping rough. And I know from an officer here at the time that he would bring down food and blankets and be generous. As I say, he was a formidable political opponent. He was an intelligent person. It's a very sad loss for your party and for his family. And I think, as I say, when we have our rows in here, it's what we do outside of here that matters. And we did get the pensioners' bus passes in the end. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Johnson. Right, we will move on to agenda item 7, Treasury Management Strategy Statement and Annual Investment Strategy Mid-Year Review Report 2018-2019. I call upon Councillor Gregory.
Thank you, Chairman. This mid-year Treasury Management Review to report to Council is a requirement of the Chartered Institute of Public Finance Accountancy and provides details of the Council's Treasury performance to the end of September 2018. The Treasury Management Strategy Statement for 2018-19, which includes the annual investment strategy, was approved by Council on the 8th of February 2018. There are no policy changes to the Treasury Management Strategy Statement and the annual investment strategy that was previously approved. The Council held 47.49 million in investment at mid-year, up from 40.88 million at the 31st of March. The investment yield was 0.6% against the 7-day local interbank bid benchmark of 0.44%. The return on investment was budgeted at 62,000, but was well above budget at 136,000 by mid-year. Original estimate for the capital financing requirements was 57.17 million, and at mid-year it was held down to 30.7 million by utilising 25.4 million of cash flow funds in lieu of borrowing. No debt rescheduling took place due to the prevailing interest rate structure. The debt interest budget was set at 1.5 million, but is revised down to an estimated 1.2 million by year end. Finally, the ratio of financing cost to revenue stream is down on both the non-HRA and the HRA budgets. Non-HRA is down from 10.5% of revenue stream to 8.6%, and HRA is down from 7.6% of revenue stream to 6%. This mid-year report shows good performance in all areas, and I propose that Council approves the report and the Treasury indicators shown.
Thank you, Councillor Gregory. Is there a seconder? Councillor Bayford. Members, I have an apology to make. I've got a little bit carried away with myself and I've skipped agenda item 5. This wasn't a deliberate mistake. So agenda item 5 is declarations of interest. Are there any declarations of interest? Councillor Campbell.
I think a collective declaration of interest in the members' allowance scheme as an agenda item.
We've already covered that, sorry.
Yes, there is already a general dispensation in place for members' allowances. Yep.
Thank you. Any other declarations of interest? Once again, apologies, members. Do we wish to debate agenda item 7, so eloquently presented by Councillor Gregory. Councillor Piper.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm just going to be a tiny little bit cheeky, if you'll allow it. This forms part of the amount of work that Mr. Willis and his team have done in the last 12 months to try and work magic. A bit like the Hebrews making bricks without straw. They've done an extraordinarily difficult job. And I believe, whether we agree fully with exactly what the outcome has become, they still deserve the thanks of members in this chamber for the work that they have put in to try, as I say, and work magic. It's a shame, and this is where I'm being a bit cheeky, and perhaps some clearance could be given, clear guidance could be given to us, whether the decision to pull it was ours or whether it was a government decision interfering with democratic process in this place. Because whatever's happened, they have not allowed elected members in this place to do their jobs and do them properly for the benefit of the people of Thanet. So thank you for letting me express my disappointment, but also my thanks to Mr. Willis and his team.
Cheeky as ever, Councillor Piper, but as you know, I tend to be quite generous, but thank you. Do members agree with Councillor Gregory? Thank you. Agenda item 8, Members' Allowance Scheme 2019-20. I move that the recommendation as set out in the report be adopted. Would the Vice Chairman please second?
I second that, Chair. Sorry.
Thank you. Do members agree? Oh, Councillor Bayford.
Thank you, Chairman. I'd like to be as cheeky as Councillor Piper and answer his question and say that it was my request to you to postpone the budget tonight because I thought it was the best thing that we should do. It's not denying democratic right to set the budget. In fact, it's creating a situation where we'll be better informed to create the right budget.
Thank you, Councillor Bayford, for that explanation and defence of my position. We were on Members' Allowance Scheme. Do members agree? Thank you. That concludes the business for the meeting this evening of the Council.